Okay, so I'd like us just again to relax the chest, breathe naturally. See if you can feel your breathing sinking, not so much forcing your breath down, just naturally sinking in through the nose, out through the nose, sinking to the chest. It take you start to sink to the lower belly, to that point about 2 inches below the navel, and a couple of inches inside. Then it starts to kind of sink down the legs. And to the feet. And as you kind of sink the breathing, not force it down, the breathing slows down. And as breathing slows down, I start to get out of what Bruce Lee called the noisy mind. And Master Choi just say, relax completely, mind and body. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go through the movements that we've covered so far, maybe, and then we'll go through again, review the steps, and then we'll tackle tonight's lesson, which is actually a lot of repetition. Okay, so, okay, now relaxing the chest, breathing naturally, commencement of Tai Chi. And ward off left. Push upward. Pull back. Press forward. And push. Okay, extend out without locking them. Turn. Fist under elbow. Now we go to a pulse monkey. And slanting flying. Raised hands. Stork spreads its wings. Left brush knee and twist step. Keep the weight back and on the right foot. Needle at sea bottom. And through the back. Turn. White snake sticks out tongue. And here we start repeating. Pull back. Press forward. And push. Okay. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to turn around, face away from the camera. Okay. And so a lot of you like this view a little bit more. Okay. So I'm going to get up to here. And we're going to face this direction. Commencement of Tai Chi. Now here, make sure the weight stays down. Don't shift the weight. It's just about 90% on the back foot. And through the back. Turn. White snake sticks out tongue. Pull back. Press forward. And push. This is repeat. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, so some of the earlier moves, is there anything you'd like to have a question about? I think last week we really started from stork spreads its wings and went through white snake, sticks out tongue, pull back, press forward, push. But anything in that first section, even if you just want to see it from a different angle. Anybody? Nobody? Well, I'll tell you what we'll do is I'll shift back to the larger camera here and we'll go through last week. Okay, but let's just before start to review a little bit of what we call the steps. They're still important. A good way to kind of warm up the Tai Chi is to go through the steps, then go through the breathing, calm down. Okay, you don't have to get the details straight, but there's a clarity as your mind starts to get it, your body starts to kind of fill itself in a little bit more along what the form is. Okay, so in a brief review, our first step is called the bow stance, heel toe. Okay. Straight ahead, master call that 90 degrees. Okay, so knee covers toe, back foot turns in. Okay, straight, this is where we started, 45 degrees in. Now, in later movements, nose, navel face the same direction as knee and toe. And tonight we're going to do one where knee and toe continue to go that way, but nose and navel align with the knee. Okay. Back foot turns toe in. Knee covers toe. Okay. And again, knee and toe straight ahead. Nose and navel can face 45 degrees, same direction, or a little off, nose, navel aligned with the knee. Okay? And turning out, keeping the weight down, 30-degree step. Back foot toe turns in. Here, knee covers toe, back foot. Okay, back leg is straight, but not locked. Nose and navel. This is returning, facing same degree as the knee and toe of the back foot. Knee and toe. We're shifting the weight and turning. And we can also go straight back and straight forward. That's the pushing motion. Everything else, pull back, press forward, push upward. There's a turning as you shift the weight. Okay? And as you can see, I have that shoulder width back there. Same thing. We've done the step with the Left foot 30 degrees, that's left brush knee. Heel toe step. Back foot, toe turns in. Knee covers toe. Again, shifting the weight, bending, keeping both, keep the knee bent. Keep the knee bent, but I'm shifting weight and turning. Okay, aligning with the back. Same direction as back knee, back toe. Forward knee, forward toe. Now, back and forth. And you can see there's still that shoulder width back there. So, again, you don't have to get it perfect right now, but get a sense of it, okay? And we have what's called the dingbo stance. Toes turn out 45 degrees, knees bent. Toe, distance between the knees, thumb to ring finger. Keep the weight down. Toe, back, heel. Toes going not too high, just about an inch off the ground. Okay. Okay, so those are the basic steps. Okay. So, does anybody have a question over those basic steps? Okay. So continue to work on them. It's not about getting them perfect, but you get an increasing sense of them. Same thing with the movements. If you're too specific, a lot of times it's a form, but it's a form to allow your chi, your interior energy to flow. Okay, and if there's too much rigidity in the form, the flow is impeded by that. Conversely, if there's no real structure, then everything in the flow, it's not so much flow as drift. So that's a fine line. Okay, okay, no questions. Then we'll go through last week's movements. Okay, and shifting to here. Okay, well, that's straight ahead. Last week's movement started 30 degrees facing, okay? Right heel, raised hands. Stork spreads its wings. Left brush knee. And twist step. Now here, without standing up, we're onto the toes of the back foot. Now this is like the raised hands, but it's the toe that is on the way. It's not a movement, but it's on the way to needle at C button. And through the back. I'm going to turn. Okay, now the weight is down on the left foot. I'm going to rotate the waist. I'm on the toe, hip opens, 30-degree step. White snake sticks out tongue. Pull back. Press forward. And push. Okay. And we'll try that from a different angle. Okay, so this time what I'm going to do is if I were facing away from you, And it's important to get the details, but you get a sense where as your breathing settles, there's a kind of a calm to you. Okay, and that reflects in a flow through the movements, not just the form. But. Okay, now, are there any questions, or would anybody like to see any of the last movements? Stork spreads its wings. Yes.
Yeah. Can I see the stork spreads its wings from the front?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. Let's do this. I'll lower the right hand. It's about waist level, holding a ball. Left, right foot down. Feet are 45 degrees here. And we'll shift the weight here. Left hand goes down. Right comes right up the middle and goes just above the forehead. Now, as I turn the right palm away, I pick up and set down the toes of the left foot. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. Stork spreads its wings. Okay, now what I'm going to do is face away from you in that. Okay, so. Okay. Does that answer your question or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. A lot of times you just want to see it again or see it from a different angle. Okay, you get the flavor of it. Okay. Okay, anybody else a movement you'd like to see or have a question about or see from a different angle?
Sensei, I have a question about needle at sea bottom.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, needle at sea bottom. What I'm going to do is do that because I see myself on screen a little bit more. Okay, needle at sea bottom. Okay. Now here, this is like raised hands, but it's toe and left foot is forward. See, the hands don't drop. Actually, what happens is this hand goes down, but the right hand just goes out. But the angle of the body changes. Okay? And I'll try it from here. Okay? The hard thing with that one is that you don't want to repeat it a lot because the right leg gets real tired. Okay, but the weight stays back. In other words, if you push your weight forward, you're kind of set, and then you have to unset to move. But here, see, that foot can get, but up, so boom, the other one. Master try kind of like, boom, that sort of motion. You can kind of go from that rear leg position to boom. And that's what happens when, the Tai Chi encourages a very alive, springy, calm feel through the system, through your whole body and your mind. Okay? Is that a little clearer to you, Cliff? Hello?
Yes, I was going to ask about where the lower hand ends up, but you showed it quite well.
Yeah. Okay. See, this doesn't drop. This actually goes straight out, and then the wrist bends a little bit. But what happens, the body changes its angle. But if you go back up, you see, now this hand winds up to the side of the knee. Okay? But you don't drop it there. You lower it, and as the body goes forward, it finds this position. Okay? Okay. So, anybody else with another movement you'd like to see, or get explained, or watch from a different angle? Anybody? Okay. All right. Then what we'll do is we will move on. And, okay. Little better body view. Okay, now, last week, our last movement was wide snake sticks out tongue. Now, this is pull back. This is press forward. And this is push. Now here, the arms go straight out. Now before, from here, we did fist under elbow. Okay, now we're going to do a movement tonight. It's called single whip. This is the first movement, and then we're going to repeat it. It'll be the last movement of this lesson. So you learn it, you get to repeat it. Okay, so from here, so fist under elbow, you turn the toe in so they're both here, facing the same direction, 45. But you turn the toe in so it's facing straight, the original direction. Left hand is still here. Now, I'm turning away, I'm taking a step, heel toe, and this is called single whip. Now here, nose and navel face the knee. This is nose tip height. This forms a right angle here. Not too close or not too extended. This arm is back about 30 degrees, not straight, but it's back a little bit. The wrist relaxes, fingertips touch. It's not a lock feeling. Okay. So, from the push, you shift the weight back. Lift the arms, extend out, but they're not locked. Turn the foot all the way in, so you're facing the original direction with the toe. Shift the weight back, keep the weight down. Now, turn the waist, open the hip and step. Single whip. Nose tip height, shoulder level, back about 30 degrees. Arm is straight but not locked. Okay, and nose and navel face the knee. Okay, I'd like you to try that a couple times. We'll see if there are any questions. Single whip. Okay, now, does anybody like to see it from a different angle? In fact, let me do this. Right about here, we'll do a back view. Okay. Try that once more. The arm here is not straight, it's just back about 30 degrees. Okay, side view. Nose, navel, aligned with the knee. Okay. Anybody like to see that again or from another direction? Or question? Again, you know, we mentioned hands. Oftentimes, forehead level. Okay.
Can you
Or
do
butt.
it facing the stage?
Yes. Yes, I sense somebody with a question. Anybody?
Do it the way we are facing.
You want to see the way that, okay.
Go backwards.
Oh, you want me to face that way?
Yes.
Wait. Okay. All right. I'll do that again. Is that clear? Yes or no? Okay, good. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So after the push, is there a,
Yes.
you move backwards, so you're back weighted when you actually turn, right?
Well, yeah, the arms are extended, okay? So for example, here, you're not moving the arms side to side. Okay, the push, you see, you still have the roundness and it's nose tip height. But as you're going out, you extend the arms without locking them, okay? As you extend the arms out, now this is all the rotation of your waist and the toe turning in, okay? Now here, this is kind of waist level, this is by chest level. Rotate, step, back foot turns toe in. And the arm is about 30 degrees back, not any further than that. Okay?
Yeah. So it seems
What?
like
Yeah.
you're rotating and turning. I mean, you're turning and shifting your weight at the same time. So it's not two distinct steps. You're not shifting your weight then turning. Seems like you're shifting and turning. Is that
Pretty much. Okay. For example, here, I shift the weight back so I can turn the foot all the way in. Now, here, I just turn the toe, but I'm also rotating the hip, which allows me to get the toe that way. If I drag here, it's real difficult to get this angle. Okay, so I shift the weight back. I'm going to turn, and again, the turn is not just the toe, it's also the hip joint. Now I can shift the weight back, form the ball here. Then I can step, and I can get that 90 degrees. Still a shoulder width, okay? That make it a little clearer?
Yeah, the only other thing that I'm having trouble with is relaxing my right shoulder. When it comes out, it feels like maybe it's just practice, but like that angle is really hard for me.
Yeah, no, literally, we carry a lot of upper body tension, okay? And a lot of that is just learning to settle your breath. And then what happens is, when I'm trying to do things with what Bruce Lee called the noisy mind, you got to get the details right, but if all you do is think about it with a noisy mind, the shoulder reflects that. So a lot of that is just not so much anything other than just sort of getting the sense of it and staying easier with it. Letting it kind of fill in, let the dots fill in. You don't have to get this perfect tonight, okay? You see what I mean? Ideally, you know, you can take the course and go, okay, that was pretty good. Or the purpose of the course is to try to get people to continue to practice because there are benefits from it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now I have a high school diploma. The question is, what are the benefits of my high school diploma? Well, without it, I couldn't go on to college, okay? So it helped to have it, all right? So the same thing here, but education is continuous. And you know, you can have this degree or a diploma, but we never stop learning. And so the form itself, as you practice it, gets deeper, or the effects of it, the calm, the breathing being more natural, your attention being calmer and a bit more encompassing. Master Choi had this way. I just kind of was walking today and I just was going, yeah, he kind of had a way. He's very humble. You know, he goes not like, ah, me, martial arts, genius, or I'm bad news. No, he was very, very calm, considerate. He might kind of go this way if he felt you were being disrespectful because that was his job. All right. But you know, he was just very calm, and yet he would pick things up. He knew what was going around him without stressing or being paranoid. Okay? So the single whip repeats. That's the last movement tonight. And so what happens is we're going to go through Fair Lady Works the Shuttles. 4 corners, same movement. Now for this, it is tricky because how you orient, okay? And I'm showing it from different angles, but it's better to learn this and not change the angle that you practice. If I start this way, I shouldn't tomorrow try it this direction until you know the form. Okay? So what we're going to do is move into Fair Lady Works at Shuttles. Now this movement is repeated in the way I'm facing to start out. Corner number 1, corner number 2, corner number 3, corner number 4. Okay, so I'm going to move here. I'm going to start from single whip. And I'm going to shift the weight back to the right foot. Left hand's holding the ball. I'm going to turn the left foot all the way in. Shift the weight to the left, keep the weight down. Now we're going to do a cross step. Toe is facing out that way. I'm going to shift the weight here. I'm going to turn the waist. Now I'm going to step 30 degrees, heel toe. As I shift the weight onto the right, the form is Fair Lady Works at Shuttles. Remember, back foot turns toe in. The lower hand comes up the midline of the body, over the forehead. It becomes the upper hand. Palm turns away just above the forehead. And the right hand from chest level goes up to nose to height. Okay, so I'm going to try that again. Shift the weight back. Hold the ball. Left hand is underneath. Turn the left foot all the way in. Shift the weight to the left. Keep the weight down. Pick the right foot up and cross with it. Shifting to the right. Raise the left hand. Step with the left foot 30 degrees. And the back foot turns in. Nose hip height. Just above the forehead. And not over the forehead. This is the midline. This is this side here. Okay? Now, what I'll do is I'll try it from a different angle. Okay, for example, if I'm facing the camera. Okay, now I'm facing a wall. There's the close corner on my right and the far corner. The first corner is the far corner. Corner number 1. Okay. So, let me try it from a different angle. Cross. As you shift the weight to the right foot, keep the weight down. Step 30 degrees. Fair Lady Works at Shuttles. Okay? If I go back, still have my shoulder width. Okay? Try that a couple times. We'll see if you have any questions. Any questions about the hands or the feet moving, or you want to see it from a different angle? Anybody? Okay, now this movement we're going to do to the four corners, and it's the same movement. Okay, so we're going to go from corner number 1 to corner number 2. Okay, now that's corner number 1, did the crossfoot step. Corner number 2, shifting the weight back. Now what I'm going to do, the hands form a ball. Right hand is underneath. Okay, weight is back. I'm going to turn the left foot all the way in, so it's facing that way. And that means I can't just turn the toe. I'm actually turning the hip. Keep the weight here. Now this is a difficult turn, so you see how I'm turning the waist. Now we're going to step corner number 1, corner number 2. It has a big turn. Okay, so we're going to try that again. Shift the weight back, lower the hands, right hand is underneath. Turn the left foot all the way in. Be rotating the waist, opening the hips, step. Boom. Let me get a little better full body view here, okay? So I can get a better view back here. And if I were, for example, to try it from a different direction, I'll go single whip this way, which is more the back direction. Okay, now we go. Left hand underneath, cross with the right foot. Now, shift the weight back, hold the ball, right hand is underneath. Turn the toe all the way in. Okay. Okay, now you get more practice with that turn. The turn from 1 to 2 also repeats when we go from 3 to 4. Fair lady versus shuttle to the four corners. Okay? That one takes a little time. Again, if you get the feeling that you sink your center. I set, I have to unset to move, and you describe that loose balance, but the feeling here is boom, 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 boom. Your system is relaxed. You're like water. Water sits there. It can be very still, but it's not set. If you tip it, it adjusts. It doesn't slide like ice. And that's kind of the feeling we want. So you learn to sink your center. As Bruce Lee put it, be like water. Okay? Anybody try that big turn? Okay, that's something that, as I said, we'll repeat tonight. From 1 to 2, it repeats when we go from 3 to 4. Okay? So, okay. Anybody need a couple of tips on the turn? Slow it down. If you try to rush it, you know, I rushed it. In fact, you know, if I rush it, I'm going to go and slow it down. But so you slow it down, catch its flow. That's what Tai Chi is. Slow everything down, catch its flow. Okay? And then, boom, the movements themselves, boom, they kind of, when you catch its flow, then boom, you can collapse the space-time of boom. Okay? But instead of going for an hour, we go like this. Boom. Discharge. Boom. Okay? Anybody with a question on that step? Because it's going to repeat. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
The turn between Fair Lady 1 and Fair Lady 2, should that feel a little bit like the step back that comes from that comes with Repulse the Monkey?
The step back that comes with what?
That comes with Repulse the Monkey or Carry Tiger Mountain?
Let's see. For me, they're different. Okay? For me, they're different. Repulsed monkey, again, the feeling of learning how to sink. The other way of describing that is ground. It was the ground, okay. But in Tai Chi, you're sinking. Okay, not sinking, but the feeling of balance here goes deeper. Okay, so you can stand very still, but you're never set, ideally. And when you deepen, the noisy mind gets calmer. And so balance improves because there's less noise here. If you're thinking about how to do it better, you're creating more noise. So that's something we constantly do. So we just learn to sink. Sink our breath. Go a little deeper. Okay? So a lot of times, you know, you sink is not force that. It's just, okay, easy. All right? Repulsed monkey. Now here, that turn here, this is somewhat similar. Okay, so from repulsed monkey to slanting flying, see how much I'm turning the waist, then I open the hip to step, and I get the step. Okay, now, in that same way, see we're going, the first one is pretty easy. Okay, one. Now, here, there's a similarity. See how much my butt turns? And that opens it up so the hip can open, and I get that step. You slow it down. You ride the flow. If you try to say, okay, I'm going to do that move, no, you ride the flow. That's the fun of it. Okay? So yeah, it's similar. If you took it one more move from pulse monkey to slanting flying, yeah. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to go from 2 to 3, and that change is the easiest. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, now, and so we go this way, and we go this way. So that's 1, and that's 2. Okay, that's 3. Keep the weight on the right. Turn the toe out just a little bit, helps the balance. Left hand is underneath, holding a ball. Now, I'm going to bring the foot in, so I'm on my toe here. Turn the waist. Now I'm going to raise the left hand, take a 30-degree step, and this is corner number 3. Of the 4, that's the simplest change. Corner number 2, keep the weight forward. Don't shift the weight back. Turn the toe. Now lower the hands. See, the hands don't change relationship. The upper hand is still the upper hand. The lower hand is still the lower hand, but it's holding a ball. Turn the toe out slightly. Now, when I do that, I shift the weight a little bit more. I'm on the toe of this foot. I'm going to raise this hand, step that foot. Back foot turns toe in, as usual. And this is corner number 3. Okay? For example, if I were to go corner number 2 in this direction, you see that Andu is lowering the hands, left hand's holding a ball. Turn the toe out just a little bit. Keep the weight down, sink your center, and corner number 3. Right hand goes from chest level to nose tip height. Left hand goes up the midline of the body, so it's right above the forehead, turns palm away. It's not over the top of the hips. Midline of the body is right over here. Okay? So that's the easiest change. So give that a try. Any questions on that change from 2 to 3? That's the easiest one. Keep the weight on the right foot. Just turn the toe out. Okay? Anybody question? Okay. Now, the nice thing is that that turn that got you from 1 to 2, you repeat it. So just so I can get a better shot of, what I'm doing on camera, I'm going to shift to this, okay? Okay, so this is that was corner 1. We did the turn, got to corner 2. Now from corner 2 to 3, there's just that simple change. Keep the weight on the right foot, turn the toe out a little bit, take a step towards the 3rd corner. Now, from here, it's the same turn to get you from corner 3 to corner 4. From 1 to 2, there's that turn. You do 2 to 3, then you repeat the turn that got you from 1 to 2, gets you to the 4th corner. Okay? So I'm going to do it. So try it a couple times and we'll see if maybe if you're having trouble, I maybe can give you a couple of tips. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Anybody with a question?
Can you do the flow just from the single whip to the 4th one? I think that'll answer the question I have.
Single whip, you want to see all 4? Is that what you want?
Yes, please.
Okay, sure. Okay. Let me always get out of sequence with myself. Okay? I'm going to get back where there's full body shot. And now shift the weight back, lower left hand, you're holding a ball. Turn the left foot all the way in. Shift the weight back, keep sinking the weight. Cross, raise the left hand, step 30 degrees. That's 1. Shift the weight back, lower the hands, right hand is underneath. Turn that toe all the way in. Now this is the 30-degree step, corner number 2. And now turn the right foot out just a bit. Keep the weight on the right foot. Raise, step, corner number 3. Now, lower the hands, right is underneath. Turn that foot all the way in. And corner number 4. Okay? Is that a little clearer? That make it a little clearer for you? Yes, no?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right, good. Now we have, really, everything else is a repeat. Okay, so I want us to get back all the way to the single whip. So what we're gonna do, this is corner number 4. Lower the hands again, left is underneath. Turn the right toe out slightly. You take a 45-degree step, then you repeat forward off left, right toe turns in. Keep the weight down, right hand underneath. This time you repeat, push upward. Just like the beginning sequence, pull back, press forward, and push. And then, the first movement today, you shift the weight back, turn, and single whip. Okay, so what I'd like you to do, we'll start from corner number 4, and we'll go through. Now, one thing, the first one we did was ward off left. We were facing straight, but nose and navel were 45 degrees that way. This time, we're going to step 45 degrees, and nose and navel face the straight direction, although we'll be facing that way. So, ward off, straight step, 45 degrees in, 45 degree step, straight. This is chest, this is waist. Okay, so let's go from corner number 4, and ward off left, 30-degree step, push upward, pull back, press forward, and push. And shift the weight all the way back, arms extend out, but they're not locked. Repeat single whip. Remember, nose, navel, face the knee, 90-degree step, nose hip height, arm is back just a little bit, not straight to the side, about 30 degrees, relax the wrist, fingers lightly touch. Okay, lightly. Okay? I'd like everybody to try, we got a couple more minutes. Start from single whip, go through Fair Lady works at shuttles to the 4 corners, and then the ending sequence, that 45-degree step into grass bird's tail, ward off left, take another step, push upward, go all the way from single whip to single whip. So let's try that once, and that'll get us to 8:30, okay? And we'll see if you have any questions. Okay, so let's begin. Take it slow. Take it slow. Okay. All right. So, anyway, that takes us all the way through Fair Lady works at shuttles. all the way to single whip. Keep doing this. Any questions come up? Single whip to single whip, fair lady works her shuttles. Last sequence, repeat ward off, left, right, push upward, pull back, press forward, push.
Yeah, the first.
Yeah.
The first,
Yes.
The first single whip.
Yeah,
There's a cross step, and I keep having trouble with that.
yeah, the cross step is pretty much the same one. Okay, now remember the first one. We went, shift the weight here, you just cross. The toe, you don't want to cross over here to lose your balance, but you also, there's no cross step. Cross step is toe heel right there, okay? Now single whip, it's you. Shift the weight back. Now here, see I'm crossing. Then I'm stepping, but I'm raising, I'm stepping 30 degrees. Okay? So there are two cross steps. We don't really do that step again. Later, there's a couple of other moves if you go on to a more advanced form, where the crossfoot step comes in. But the cross step allows you to sometimes, I'm going to take a big movement, very easily, but from here, see, I can take that step and I can do that motion. So the cross step adds a kind of a, if you're thinking more in terms of distancing, if you're working with somebody, then sometimes you utilize the cross step. If somebody's coming, you cross step, and then they boom, you take, and that's the earlier move. There's an application to each of them. When you're first learning, it's not a good idea to focus on that because you start to think and you start to kind of, and so most important thing is to relax. And as you're kind of doing it, like the cross step, for example, okay, now I don't put the weight there. The weight's there, but say, is there in a way that I can transfer, go back? Or boom. Right? So after a bit, what you're doing when you're doing the movements is almost like you're learning to ride the chi, ride the energy. Ride the energy, relax. Enough of the form to kind of get the stability and the consistency. If you don't really get the form, you drift. You start to drift. And if you focus on the form, you never learn to ride the chi. And so, when you're walking or something, you can learn to ride the chi. You can transpose into other areas. Okay? So, anybody with a question or, okay? Now, my daughter is kind of my coach. Says, Dad, be more responsible and end on time. So what we're going to do is this will be online, and I'm going to end today. So we're about 8:30. Okay. So so what we're going to do is to take the right hand, cover the fist, okay, offer it from the heart.